Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Ian Blackburn. This is another session of Zoom into Wine, and I'm very happy that you could be here with me today. Those that were on hold, whenever I'm going to talk about Greek anything, I remember probably my first ideas about Greece as a kid were because of a movie called Summer Lovers in 1982. I don't know if you remember seeing that movie or not. Wasn't the greatest movie, but when you're 14 years old, it was pretty impressionable and had a pretty damn good soundtrack. Prince and Depeche Mode and Pointer Sisters. I think there was a different day of royalties back then. But waiting for everybody to get online here. We will go forward with our program as we take a look at Greek wine tonight from a single producer. I've been very, very happy with the Greek wine sales performances around our website. I've been able to find some really good smaller producers from Greece. And I have been to Greece and I have fallen in love with going to Greece, and I'm going back to Greece next year. We are planning a trip for 2024. And there's so much of Greece I still have yet to have seen, but we took a group from the very north from Thessaloniki down all the way through the red wine areas of Nassau and into the Peloponnese and everything in between. We drove the entire country and saw a number of amazing sights, ate so many fun meals in some really small towns, really humble, and just a fantastic journey. Much more on the rustic side in Greece than some other places. I liked Athens, but it wasn't my favorite part at all. My favorite part was being out in the country and seeing the beautiful terrain and meeting these amazing people, very nice people, and being able to taste some really good wines. So tonight, it's kind of inspired by all those different ideas. And I wanted to be able to speak with a particular producer and start to learn some of the more important producers. And tonight we're going to meet with Thymiopoulos, and it's a fantastic wine brand. Augustus has been making wine for a long time. He's been getting some amazing press, and he gave us his time. And so I'm going to share with you what he has told us. We shot this I think it was about a week ago. And whenever we're, 8, 9, 10 hours apart, we do it this way. But the Zoom allows us to Zoom all over the world and bring the personalities right into our discussion. Also, we deliver little jars of the wines. Hopefully you got yours. I'm going to encourage you to start with wine number 1, which is our Assertico, and just kind of sit back and let's listen to what we're talking about. About 10 minutes in, maybe 12 minutes in, I'll find a good spot and stop, and we'll move into wine number 2, whether we're talking about that wine yet or not, as we kind of go all over the place a little bit with our conversation. But I hope you enjoyed the program, and let's share some thoughts about the wines on our chat box. Those of you that are watching on Facebook, you can always join our Zooms and be live with us as well. But tonight, got a smaller group, but a passionate one, and it's going to be a really nice program. So I hope you enjoy. Of course, we are starting off in Greece. Here is a look at Greece. Thessaloniki, it's way up here. And we drove all the way down and kind of twisted back and forth across Greece to be able to cover the entire country. It was a really fascinating journey. And here's our presentation.
South Italy,
I was watching a little earlier, so it didn't reset. Just give me 1 second. There we go.
Another great wine region, great producer.
take us around the globe so that we can continue to learn about wine in a meaningful way. And I love to meet real game-changing personalities. And this is the first time that we at Zoom into Wine have Zoomed with Greece. And so we wanted to set the standard really high. And we are very fortunate to have Thymiopoulos on the Zoom with us. Apostolos Thymiopoulos is joining us live from Greece. I am recording at 9:30 on Monday, July 10th, where it's about 10 o'clock at night or 7 at night for you, right? 7:30 at night now?
It's afternoon, yes.
Yeah, but fantastic to have you. Did I pronounce your name okay?
Yes, fantastic.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Correct.
Thank
like
you.
Greek.
Well, I really do appreciate you. We've had great success with your wines for the past couple of years. I think they're delicious. They're really enjoyable from our California sensibilities. I know a lot of our customers are traveling a lot and visiting Greece, but I think these wines really take you into a Greek mindset, and that's why I'm real proud to present this program tonight. These are primary grape varieties done in a really beautiful fashion. And let's begin and let's learn about you and your wines, and take us on a little journey. We've got a little slideshow for us, and we'll go through it. Our night with Thymiopoulos Winery, and we're in northern Greece. In fact, I want to show you on a map where we're at. If we look at, and there are wine regions all over Greece, but when we start talking about Thymiopoulos, we tend to be talking about this area right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nassau, is that pronounced correct?
Nassau is the region, the appellation. Yes.
Nassau. Perfect. And I have had the pleasure to visit and have amazing experiences there. It's a beautiful place to live. Really a wonderful countryside, and everything seems to be in perfect balance and harmony out there. So excited to do this with you and learn more about Nassau and Thymiopoulos. And we're also going to taste a white wine made from a Sertico tonight.
Yes.
Great. So your vineyards in Nassau, how long have you been farming these vineyards?
I have hectares from my family, my father's and grandfather's plantations, 44 years ago. But when I finished my studies as enologist in Athens, I came back and bought land and planted more vineyards.
Very good.
I focused to the local grape, that there is a big heritage on Thymiopoulos variety. Thymiopoulos is translating as sour black. This means that it's a red grape with high acidity. So the name is Thymiopoulos, sour black.
And have they done any DNA tests on Thymiopoulos? Has it appeared anywhere else in the world?
Definitely yes, and this is very unique Greek variety. There are similarities when you try this. Reminds you mainly Barolo, mainly Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
Because of the tannins and the structure, and some years that are more humid remind you sometimes Pinot Noir. But usually there are similarities at the taste and the flavors with Nebbiolo.
Yeah. Exactly.
This means that this grape loves the aging, loves the aging, loves to stay and change the tannins and the structure and the flavors, everything.
It looks like you're using a lot of sustainable practices and biodynamic.
Always we're growing, my family always growing organic. And last years, after for my visits in Burgundy, I discovered the biodynamic there, and I try with another friend of the area to practice some practice of biodynamic. Works very well because Greece, don't forget, is south country in Europe. For us, it's more easy to practice the biodynamic than the north countries in Europe because of the weather and the dryness.
Sure.
But if you see the picture, it's not a dry area. It's green. It's forest and very nice, nature because of we are north and we have rains during the year. It's not like the islands of South Greece. It's raining often, and we have to fight with disease about mildew and others. And this year is really very difficult for all Europe. But our minds trained to pass all the difficulties.
Everything's dry farms.
Yes, and we have low temperatures, very low temperatures in winter months, and this is important for the health of the vines. Snowing every year, sometimes twice, and this saved water for the summer months, and it's nice for the health of the grape, of the health of the vine and the grape, the quality of the grape. As you can see, we're following the biodynamic and organic viticulture, and this is very important for the quality of the grapes. The organic save us low yield, and this means ripe grape, ripe seeds, and better results to the wine. This is an old vineyard. The stone, the soil is very important because it expresses the terroir and gives to the different labels different character. This soil is very usual in higher altitudes. This is schist, grand schist. At these vineyards, there is more stones than soil.
Wow.
These vines are old and looks like younger. As a variety that loves the aging, we invested a lot to cellaring the wine in big barrels, in different volumes. Mainly, till last year, we used 500-liter barrels. And 2 years ago, we bought big fooders, like the right picture, 2,000, 3,000 liters. And 1 week ago, we bought a 10,000-liter wooden tank.
Wow.
Yes, for me, it's very important to express the variety, the terroir. Don't extract it oak taste to the wine.
Sure.
The amphoras that we are looking came from Sicily, handmade clay amphoras. We are doing experiments there with reds. And we released last year a white wine with all our white experiment plantations, Assyrtiko, Malagousia, Vidiano, and Aidani. We are focused to Greek grapes. So this is, for me, this is the future for Greek wine. And of course, always we are on Xinomavro, but doing experiment with other more rare grapes of the area.
And tell us about your journey. When did you decide you would follow in your parents' footsteps, and how did you become a winemaker?
The area always growing vines, and my family always growing vines and selling the grapes to other wineries. 2003, when I finished my studies at enologist in Athens, I came back and starting slowly producing wine. Today we have 42 own hectares, own vineyards, 42 hectares. And some others in collaboration. If someone wants to collaborate with me, they have to follow the organic, and we help them. We explain them that the organic and dynamic gives more pure grapes, and these grapes producing better wines because the Greek wine brand is not very strong, and we have to produce very pure and very good wines to if you want to establish the Greek wine brand in the international wine markets.
And as you in your travels, your wine journey, I know reading about you, you've spent some time in Burgundy and other places.
Yes, yes. I try to produce wine and different labels, and because the people, the consumers, don't know many things about Greek grapes, about Greek wines. Only the last years, some professionals, sommelier and wine buyers, interested to discover wines from unknown regions like Greek regions, like South Italy, like West Spain, like Ribera Sacra, like Etna. Some years ago, nobody knows about these regions. Sure. But the last years, the people and the consumers love to discover the new varieties, new tastes.
Absolutely.
So, yes, this is me.
And do you, when you're not drinking your own wine, is there a region that you enjoy tasting more often than others?
Always we try, and we want to build ambassadors of our variety, of our appellation. We try really very hard, because for us it's more difficult, because as I told before, the people don't know many things about the Greek appellations. But when they try a bottle of Xinomavro, they are always very surprised. And we have different category of prices and wines for the people to don't risk a lot of money to discover something new. Right. So we have the Xinomavro Genvin that you have there. And this label is an entrance to the variety. Is 100% unoaked Xinomavro. This is the white.
Yeah, we're going to start with the Acertico, which is a very important grape variety for the Greek wine industry and planted in different parts of Greece.
For me, Acertico is a very competitive variety and very unique, because it's very this variety has very high natural acidity, because it's not the same. If a winemaker adding tartaric acid to increase the acidity, it's not a crime. It's a natural. Tartaric acid is a natural thing, but all the winemakers try to have natural acidity. And this variety save us very good acidities, natural acidities, because of the DNA of the grape. And another paradox thing is that in Greece, although we are South country, after Greece is Africa. But although this, we have very good natural acidities. Because if you see the map, all the country is a rock, is a peninsula into the sea. From one side is the Aegean Sea, from the other side, between Italy, is the Ionian Sea. And this is very important from the health and the freshness of the grape. We have big differences between the temperature, day and night. And this saves the grapes and don't burning. It keeps the natural acidity.
What does Atma mean to you in the name?
Atma means soul. It's from Buddhism, means soul.
Soul.
Because we're exporting 93%, I try to find the names for the people to don't be very difficult for them to pronounce.
Very good. Smart packaging. It looks good, and yeah. I like it. It's a Certico.
100% Assyrtiko from Nausa. The origin of Assyrtiko is Santorini Island. But now, because of the potential of the variety, this variety growing in whole of Greece. We choose a very stony land to plant this grape, high, to have more natural acidity than the variety gives. And the high acidity gives to the wine potential for aging, freshness, and because of the natural acidity of Assyrtiko, this is the reason that Assyrtiko participating at many blends with other Greek grapes, And also, we have to say that many winemakers all over the world planted Assyrtiko now. Peter Barry also planted Assyrtiko and releasing in Australia. In North Italy, at Friuli, some wineries planted Assyrtiko, and in Spain, in Argentina. So we have to wait in South Africa. We have to wait Assyrtikos from different terroirs. This is good.
I've actually seen someone here in California plant some Assyrtiko as well.
Why not? Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So
I told you, the natural acidity of this grape is fantastic.
And if you were to describe, what your expectation is for this wine when people go to taste it, what are they smelling? What are they receiving from this wine?
Yes, it's not very aromatic like Muscat or like Greek Malagousia or like Sauvignon Blanc. It's more mineral. It's more similar to sometimes to Riesling, to Terroir Chardonnay from Chablis, sometimes to Chenin Blanc, but it's not very, very aromatic. The characteristic of aromas is more citrus and after aging, more petrol, like an older Riesling.
Here's a look at the grape.
This is a grape, yes. It's very bright. It's very fantastic.
Is all the work handwork? Are you doing?
Yes, usually 90% in Greece are the vineyards are gardens, small vineyards. Of course, they are bigger, but usually the families have a small part of land and work manual.
Now, down in the islands where this grape variety is planted, they tend to plant it very low to the ground and surround the vine with some sort of protection from the wind.
Exactly, and the moving of the sun because it's very windy. The wind move the sand and destroy the berries of the grape. So they put the berries into the basket. When they pruning the vine, they are doing baskets from the vines, and they're putting the grapes into the basket to protect from the strong wind.
Yeah, and when you're talking about a basket, it's like literally they're taking the grapevine and shaping like a circular motion around this pit. It is then dug out around the vine to have the vine like live down into this pit with the natural vine kind of circling the outside of the pit.
Exactly.
It's a very protective way to grow in a more extreme condition, but you don't have to do that up here in Nassau.
No. In Nassau we pruning Guillot, double Guillot. Yes, and but we play with different methods, mainly with the density of vines per hectare. Before phylloxera, the area had 10,000 vines per hectare. After phylloxera, the farmers bought bigger tractors and they're replanting the vineyards with less vines per hectare. But now I'm planting more to have less quantity per vine, not per hectare.
Yes, you.
Less kilos per vine to have better ripeness. This is the target.
Better homogeny too, right?
Mm-hmm. because I told you Xenobrus is difficult variety. About Assyrtiko, yes, our vineyards are young because I planted this, but the results are really very good.
Well, we'll break here for a second and taste the Assyrtiko with our group and answer some questions and comments, then come right back and taste our next wine.
Fantastic.
We're back. All right, so let me get some feedback from you guys. I saw Marie's state the wine's very clean and crisp. What'd you guys think of it? I think it's got a very signature aromatic and character, but it is, leans towards something like a Chablis, very crisp, very minerally, very clean, very assertive, though, maybe more assertive than a Chablis. Anyone?
I agree on the Chablis note. This is Pierre. What's
Where
up, Ian?
How you doing? You down in Orange County tonight?
We are in Michigan, so our video is terrible. That's why I'm off video. But when we first tasted this, Jody and I were like, this tastes exactly like Chablis. So it's kind of funny to see the tasting notes here. It's crisp. It's got a lot of the kind of the minerality characters, kind of that finish that just went right back to Chablis. So we love this wine. This is great.
Yeah, super cool. I've gone a little bit crazy for Assyrtiko and started buying some really rare things, and they fly off the website as soon as they put them up. So I'm going to continue to do that until it doesn't work anymore. But I love to support these smaller producers, these better efforts. The wines can get on the to the $30-$40 range pretty fast, and I think a lot of people think Greek wines, $8, $9, $10 wines, because that's kind of what they came in with at a certain point in time. A lot, and those are typically unimpressive. A lot of South African wines kind of do the same thing to people, or Argentine or Chilean wines. They come in $8, $9, $10. People look to get satisfied, but they're not very impressed. And then you get to the $30 range. I don't care what part of the world you're in. Once you hit that $30 number, you just achieve something a little bit. It's just there's just something more innate qualities that are so much more easy to enjoy. Now, the one that we had tonight was about $23, and I think that's honestly one of the best values in Assyrtiko. When you get to Santorini, start drinking Santorini Assyrtiko, those wines are expensive. That little island is super premium. If you try to even go there, stay there, travel there, the hotels, everything about Santorini is a super number. Very expensive destination, and the wines are no exception. But so to be able to find a very good Assyrtiko, and Thymiopoulos is a very good producer. He wouldn't put his name on there if it wasn't very good. And I'm very impressed with that wine at the price point. It's a great ambassador. We're going to move into wine number 2. And I'm going to tell you that when I closed that Zoom, I feared that it may have reset that video. So if it did, I'll fast forward it all the way to where we just left off. Let's see what happens.
Really,
There we
very,
go.
very good.
We're good. Well, we'll break here for a second and taste the Assyrtiko with our group and answer some questions and comments, then come right back and taste our next wine. Now we're going to the Thymiopoulos number 2. We're back, and now we're tasting the young vines, Thymiopoulos from the lands. Probably these are vines that you've planted, yes?
Yes, this label established Thymiopoulos in all over the world. We're producing this with no oak because we want to give to the wine friends, to the consumers, to understand what is Thymiopoulos. We don't afraid the tannins because we have very ripe grapes because of the organic and biodynamic viticulture. They serve as low yields, and this means very ripe seeds. And now we have the experience to play with whole clusters at the vinification, and this gives more freshness to the wine and more complexity. This is a fantastic wine because you can drink now when it's young, but you can also keep for definitely 10 years. You are drinking different when the wine is young, and something different when the wine be older. This is 100% Xenomogro, extracted for about 2 weeks with the skins. The very fruity, very nice acidity, beautiful tannins, and good price.
Almost cliche to talk about the wines with the food, because there's, not lots of different iterations of Greek cuisine, but obviously the seafood element of Greece is huge. And so a Sertico with seafood is a perfect pairing. With Xenomavro, we're playing right into the hands of lamb.
This Xenomavro is not very hard tannic, so you can and the price leaves you to open every time. Everybody has this bottle in the wine cooler and opening for barbecue, for every day, for cooked food or meat, white meat, pork, lamb. It's really very nice.
Went to a nice restaurant, local, family-owned, small, little teeny restaurant. They welcome you, you sit down, you order the food. I'm watching in the kitchen as they're putting grapevines on a marble counter. They light the grapevines on fire, they bring a metal rack down, and they cook the lamb chops on the grapevines on the counter. And then they made papas, potatoes with olive oil. Probably the best French fries on the planet are in Greece.
Yes, because this wine has strong personality, but also is light.
Yeah,
it's something very, very unique. Although the color is not very dark, not imagine a cab color or a Syrah color. It is a light color, but when you try this, the mouth is dynamite.
yeah. And so just, and you think of olives, you think of the different
After
meat.
aging, Xenomavro smells olive, smells tomato paste, dry tomatoes, very friendly, food friendly aromas. When it's young, it's more fruity. It's raspberries, cherries. But after some years, the wine changed to more complex aromas.
So here's some of the tasting notes about our young vine, Xenomavro. And we're moving straight from the young vines. And here's the phonetics. Xenomavro meaning Xeno meaning sour, Mavro meaning black. So that's where the grape variety gets its name. And here you can see some of the descriptives. These are kind of core descriptions for Xenomavro: floral, tomatoes, olives, dried prunes, tobacco, nuts. It's quite a lot of complexity there, and we'll see it move as we move from this young vine Xenomavro into a more elite selection and special bottling that you make.
Exactly.
But this young vine is a great value, $20 on our website. It's a very good price in the United States. And this just really nails it for me as a really nice complex Xenomavro, offering a really good value proposition. All right, so we will now we're moving into the earth and sky. Sorry, stop there. I'm going to break that. And we'll go and take a look at the website real quick because I just want to share with you the Greek wine selection. And the best way to get there, you go to the regions, go to Eastern Europe, and there's many different options there, but Greece has its own page. And I'm a small store, but I've got 17 Greek wines on this in this small store. So that's pretty good. But this is one of the extreme Asserticos that I just brought in the store. I had a 6-pack. Somebody came in and bought it yesterday. I'll be getting another one next week. It's a special selection. The vines were planted in 1934, and they are from Santorini, and they're made by another legend of Greek winemaking, Artemis is his name. And I will, at some point in the future, do some more Artemis tastings, but he is a Santorini like stud. And so we've got a couple of really nice white wines from him. I even have this natural red that he's producing that's inky and crazy and different indigenous grape varieties. Loved this wine so much. I said, what the hell? A $60 red grape varietal blend from northern Greece. I'm sure it will not be selling very fast. Just got it. It's a 17, but it is so good. So good and so cool. The labeling is cool. The producer's awesome. I have great success with these wines. Another one is right here. Anatolis.
What's the difference between Santorini wines and where we're at now? I mean,
Well, the one that we just had is from the north up in,
right.
So mountain grown Assertigo versus island. And the island has got, the winds. And so you're going to have greater everything, like greater ripeness, greater acid, greater chiseled nuances. Up in the mountains, it's riper. So you got that bigger, more voluminous character to it. I think the one we had is really likable and very Assertico, but it's like Chablis. The more you pay, kind of the more refinement, and that's a big difference here. This one's also from northern Greece in a really good cellar that I've had. And I carry from Thymiopoulos the 3 wines that we're tasting tonight, but have a number of different producers, a beautiful rosé, and then some other grape varieties. Oh, here's a little Xenomarvo that, you want a house wine that rocks. They don't make anything else. This is it. This is $12.95 for this little Xenomarvo. I drink a lot of this little wine. It's super, super wonderful. Very, very soft, even softer than the one that we just had, but really good ambassadors, So that's my Greek wine selection. Now let's go back and we'll taste wine number 3. Tony, did I answer your question okay? I want to make sure I got you. We'll go into taste number 3, Earth and Sky. It's a higher end top wine from Thymiopoulos.
This is just really selection and special bottling that you make. Exactly. But this young vine is a great value, $20 on our website. It's a very good price in the United States, and this just really nails it for me as a really nice complex Xenomarvo, offering a really good value proposition.
Okay, here's where I was supposed to come back to. Sorry about that. Earth and Sky now.
Now we're moving into the Earth and Sky, which is
this is my first label. I started with this label because here we have all our old vines, a blend of all our old vines, my father's and grandfather's plantations in 2 different villages. 2019 been 40, today is 44 for 40 years old, for 2019, 40 years old vineyards. The wine aged at the 500 liters that you saw in the cellar, wooden barrels from French oak, older and younger. The wine spent 16 months, 15, 16 months into the cellar and then into the bottle. We're doing big fermentations there, macerations, and sometimes after the finish of fermentation, we're leaving the skins with the wine to establish better the tannins and the color to give the potential for longer aging. This wine is really very unique. You can drink younger, but better is after 6-9 years. And for some people that want to keep more, we can keep it for 15-20 years, like a good Barolo.
At $40 to be able to taste arguably one of the top wines of Greece, that's when you're really seeing incredible value proposition pass forward. There are not many places where at $40 you're tasting, something really special, something really elite, very artisanal and very focused on. Would you say that most of the vines here are older?
Yes, here we have the older vines that we have in our estate.
And how old are those vines?
Today is 44.
44 years of age. Very good. Well, it's a beautiful Xinomavro, and we'll taste it now and really enjoy learning more about you and these wines. And thank you for being an ambassador for the Greek wine industry and for teaching us. And we hope to meet you in person when we visit Greece.
You are always very welcome.
Good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
So enjoyed listening to him and learning about him. And that's what I love about Zoom, is being able to do this remotely and to be able to connect with people you otherwise have to travel halfway around the world to ever even hear of. And I think as we put this third wine up to our nose, you smell just like all the volume knobs were turned up a little bit from our first young vine example. And I was trying to hold up the bottle so you could see that this label, he told me, the label that you're showing has been improved, and I sent the new label to America. But I had 2 6-packs, one, the old label, which is now gone, and then this one, they were the same wine, but he has kind of modernized the label a little bit. And so this is what it looks like now. That does say 13.5 alcohol. And I think that the comparisons to, Barbaresco, Barolo, Nebbiolo are just even more magnified at this higher level. But even for those comparisons, Barolo, you're looking at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 bucks a bottle. Barbaresco, you might get a nice smaller producer for 40, 50. But at $30, $40 for this one here, you're really going to be able to get something that's pretty significant. And this is identified as one of the better producers of Xinomavro, and I really do enjoy this wine. The tannins are pretty significant and pretty present, but they're really nicely in balance with a big mouthful of nice ripeness and richness, concentration. So they're not overwhelming. In fact, they're really refreshing, leaves your palate kind of thirsty. It's a wine that really kind of helps with great food. I would definitely have this with some lamb chops. It's absolutely what this reminds me of, being in that countryside, having grandma in the kitchen, Yaya is what grandma was called, and Yaya was doing things, the old-fashioned way. You get these great salads with these amazing tomatoes, tomatoes like nowhere else on the world, and cucumbers and the olive oil and the feta cheese. That's what you have to start. And then you get this wonderful, you know, probably, a lamb that's been grown in the backyard, probably not running around too much because they don't want too much muscle on it, but really lean and tender, and just everything's so natural and so non-preserved, no preservatives, no MSG, none of that stuff. And so I love how authentic Greece is, how sustained they are. They all kind of make their living, in a very localized way. Prices are so modest there. The dollar is so strong, especially once you get out of Athens. The further away from Athens you get, the stronger our dollar appears. And probably the nicer the people are and the cleaner the cities are. But you're looking at places where, there's more grapevines than people. A lot of the young kids they grow up in Greece, but they're forced to move away and get jobs internationally. And it's the same thing over and over again in all these countries that we visit, where you got these wonderful little towns. You're just like, wow, how could I live here? I love this place. And you're looking around, like when we were in Sicily recently, looking around, there are neighborhoods of empty houses, because if you want to make money, you have to go to where the incomes are. And so they all move away and leave these houses abandoned and valueless. And you can buy a house in Sicily for $1. And as long as you fix it up, which costs you about $500,000. But there's all types of opportunities for us to go to these places and think about the second part of our lives in a place like that. Might work as a second home. Might be an interesting thing to share with a couple of your friends, or maybe not bring your friends into it, because it always ends in a disaster when you buy a house with a bunch of friends. But it's really an opportunity to get out there and to really relax your mind. The pace slows down, and you just watch these people kind of take care of each other, care about each other, talk. They all know each other. They, share. The one person bakes the bread and walks around delivering bread and gathers wine from the winery, and then the person who's growing tomatoes shares the tomatoes and trades for the bread. I mean, it's just really quite an economy. So I love all that stuff about Greece. It's so simple, but and these wines are delicious with great foods and pulling people in around the table. I'm probably eating Mediterranean more than any other type of cuisine. That's a lot of chicken, a lot of hummus, a lot of salads. In Los Angeles, there's a little restaurant that we go to a lot called Miss Lala, that is popping up with locations here and there, and you can go in there and get an amazing green salad with a little kebab almost of salmon or chicken or lamb with your salad for about $15. Best investment in LA. It's so tasty, so good. And these type of wines are really fun to bring around the table. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do you have any questions? What did you think about Earth and Sky? Did you like that for the $40? Is that worth it to you?
I liked it better than the first one. It seems like the color of both these wines, I just called it rusty red. They seem almost to have a brown tint to them, which is different than most of the reds that I drink normally.
That's a great observation and right on point. These wines have an incredibly low pH, and in that low pH, that power of the hydrogen, it doesn't allow for color accumulation, and so that's why you get that kind of rusty red color in the wine. You get that with a lot of wines from the southern part of France as well, and in northern Italy with the Nebbiolo, and even with Sangiovese, they have a hard time keeping their purple hues, and they turn a rusty red, orange, and that's pretty common. Also here, you got a lot of stem inclusion. Uh, I don't want to go too far and say something that's too incorrect, but um, apparently with stem inclusion, because I make Zinfandel, we don't get to do stem inclusion. But when you use stem inclusion, there's a lot of potassium in the grape, in the stems, and that also inhibits color accumulation or knocks it down at least a little bit. So, both these Xeno Marlboros have the stem inclusion. You know, one's $20, one's $40. The first one, young vines; the second one, old vines. So that's the difference there. But they're both made with the same hands, same ideas, same techniques, just different parts of the vineyard, different parts of the hill. Well, and if you want to explore some more Xeno Marlboros, we have quite a few on the website, and I'll continue to dance around and find some others. There's a really nice couple of importers that have gotten very involved in our business, and so they're always bringing in what's new. And there might only be like 3 cases for California. I mean, literally, that's how many they have come in. So I might get just a 6-pack and see if it works. It might sit in the store for 6 months, and then one person will buy it all. We'll see. We'll see. That's we got a lot of those little treasures in our store, and that's what I'm allowed to do because it's what I enjoy, and it's also makes our website a little different than a lot of places. You do have to take a few risks, but note that I'm tasting these wines, and I really think it's $20 level. The Young Vines is really nice little bottle. Not a lot of people will explore Greek wines up into the $40 world, and so like I said, I have one that's $12.95 as well, and that one's really light. I mean, we're talking, it almost looks like a rosé. That's how light in color that one is at $12.95. So you do kind of get what you pay for. Well, I hope you enjoyed this unique look at some special ideas, and believe me, as time goes by, Decanter just wrote about Thymiopoulos, Decanter magazine, and he is a real personality to note, to watch. He's taken his science and his ideas and his ethos, which very biodynamic, very natural path, into Greece, and he's having success with it. So other people are watching him, and he's a very big influential producer for the future. So thanks for supporting this program tonight. Wouldn't be able to do it without you. We have a couple of really fun Zooms coming down the pipe. I've got them scheduled all the way through the year. It just takes us time to get them kind of typed up, pictured, priced, all that stuff. And so I want to show you the Zoom into Wine page and what we've got coming next week. I'm talking Chardonnay, and we're going all over the world with the Chardonnays that I'm showing off next week. Some really great examples. I call it rediscovering Chardonnay. Heroes of Pinot. This is kind of our big monthly gathering we do with Learn About Wine, and we've already almost hit our potential there. This wine probably will sell out in advance. This one, just because of some of the Pinots I picked are pretty special and hard to get, and so we'll be very happy to sell out, and that's cool. We'll have about 33 on that Zoom, and some just phenomenal world examples. So click onto the world of the Heroes of Pinot. We're going all over the world on that one. And ironically, some of our local producers can't Zoom with me live, but I'll have the guy live from New Zealand tasting with us, and some really nice surprises on that one. Loire Valley coming down the pipe with a really fun tasting across the Loire Valley. A night with my friend Jason Court, who's a winemaker, makes wines, used to work with and around Chris Carpenter, who's a legend in the Napa Valley. And he started his own brand called Evidence, and he's had some really good success. 17 vintage 97, 18 vintage 98, 19 vintage 99 points. So we're going to taste all three of those wines side by side and talk about their differences, and maybe explore why, one wine got 97, 98, 99, what happened that year, to kind of give that extra something. And we'll talk to Jason about it firsthand and explore his really fine Cabernets. Going outside the box a little bit, we're spending an entire night talking about Madeira. And if you don't like Madeira, you got to do this Zoom, because I'm going to change your mind. And if you do like Madeira, you got to do this Zoom, because these wines are so cool. Cab Franc. Man, I love Cab Franc, and we've put together a really fun lineup again around the world with Cab Franc. German Riesling, the heroes of German Riesling. If you know anybody that likes German Riesling, there's not a better lineup of German Rieslings that you could pull together than what we're going to be tasting on this particular night. It looks like it's not yet priced, but that's not true. That price will be live here. Oh, that's why, because it's on Learn About Wine site. That's when we do it a little differently there. So this one's $49, which is a more expensive Zoom for us, but we're going to taste $350 worth of German Riesling from some really top producers, and they're first rate, the highest of the high end. So 97, 98 points, 96, 94 from just incredible. If these are the only 5 producers you ever learned about from Germany, you'd be doing pretty damn well. So I hope you guys enjoy that and come and see us again. Says Pinot also showed 0 when I did that. Oh yeah, because they're on the Wine website. So just click through to be able to get the prices on those bigger events. We sell Learn About Wine, and that's where the price is. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great night, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.
Go
Thanks,
Dottie.
Ian.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was fun.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, everybody.